Welcome once again to the Schaefer Small Engine Shop, two-car garage, scooter repair facility, mini bike repair facility, generator repair facility, compressor repair facility, electric kitty cart repair facility, and today we're going to be a chainsaw repair facility. This is one of my favorite types of equipment. Two-cycle chainsaw. They can be a lot of fun to work on, and I understand them pretty well. This is a big boy chainsaw. This is a Stihl MS360 Pro. It's a medium-sized commercial chainsaw. This is not a farm chainsaw, certainly not a home chainsaw. This saw is designed for commercial cutters all day out in the woods. It's got magnesium side cases on it, compression release. It's about 63 cc's, 20-inch bar. This chainsaw will get it. It was brought to me, wouldn't run, wouldn't start, wouldn't do anything. And I have fooled with it quite a bit. I did, after it came the first time, I did get it running, and here's why it wouldn't run. If this was your air filter, do you think you'd be very happy and run? The answer is no, compared to this one, which is a brand new one. I put a new filter on it, and I did get it to fire up. It didn't run very well, but it did fire up. But the first thing I really noticed about it was the bar and chain were bone dry. The chain was absolutely frozen into the bar. So I had to disassemble all of it, and I took the chain and the bar, soaked them in solvent, got them kind of operational. I took the bar and used a little probe like this. Got about 2 pounds of dirt out of the groove on the bar. Frayed the sprocket up in the nose. The chain I soaked in solvent, and then when I got it out of the solvent, I took it over to my wire brush on my bench grinder and brushed most of the rust off of it, but it started flexing a little bit. Then I soaked it in oil, and I think it and the bar are both going to be okay. I've got the bar reversed here, but it came in the other way. You do this to even the wear on both sides of the bar. So anyway, the bar was bone dry, and the oil pump was apparently not working at all. And I have replaced the oil pump, and I'll show you how it operates and how I did that. This is where the oil pump on this beast resides. It's up underneath the clutch side cover, and you have to take the sprocket and the clutch. You have to disassemble everything. This is left-handed threads, so it's righty loosey, lefty tighty. But this is the oil pump here. It's only got two screws that hold it in. And the nice thing about Stihl is if you've got a 27 Torx, it's going to basically disassemble the whole chainsaw. But I got a new oil pump and put it in, and I'll show you how it works. This is the old one. It draws oil from here, which is connected to the oil tank, a little rubber grommet in there that leaks a lot of times, but this one doesn't leak at all. And it's got a arm on the pump, and this arm is driven by the sprocket clutch cover, which has got a little square slot cut into it. That slot fits right in here, and when the chainsaw is running and the chain is being driven, this of course turns and that pumps oil. When the saw is idling and the chain is not turning, it doesn't pump any oil. So it's nice design. But this nylon gear here is connected to this little gear on the back side. So when it's turning, it's supposed to be turning the pump, and the pump is sucking oil in from the oil tank and squirts it back out through a plastic tube here, and it comes out here and slobbers all down all over the chain. And when I got this, apparently none of that was working. Now I've got a new oil pump in it, and it just seems to be working fine. Everything is covered in oil, so that part of the equation has been resolved. Thought I'd show you this while I'm putting this clutch side back together. This particular Stihl uses what is called a ring sprocket, or sometimes I've heard them called rim sprockets. And it fits on this outer housing, and the teeth on the outer housing fit here, and that's what drives the chain. The chain fits into these little slots all along the ring sprocket. Now, this is a sprocket off of a regular chainsaw. I think this is Poland, and it looks a whole lot more like a sprocket than this ring sprocket does. But they both work just fine. This is reversible, so when it wears one side, you can flip it around, put it back on the other way, and it's about like having a new sprocket. Now, while I'm getting this thing assembled, we might as well have a little lesson on how to correctly adjust the chain. You can see this is hanging down pretty good ways. That is too far. We're going to turn it, tighten it up. That is close, but it's not quite right. We'll turn it a little more. It needs to pull up just about to where the bottom of the teeth there will show. Maybe a little bit more. It pulls up about 1/4 of an inch, and that ought to be just about perfect. We'll take it then and tighten up the bar. Well, after I get the oil pump resolved, the chain freed up, the bar cleaned up, did some tuning on the carburetor, had it running pretty good, and I came out the next morning and was going to start it up and just make a final video of the saw running, and I pulled on it a couple of times and it burped, and I took the choke off and it started and ran for about a second and then quit, and it never fired again. So I took the carb cover off, pulled the spark plug, and pulled it a bunch of times to see if I had it flooded. And while the spark plug was out, I hooked a spark checker up to it, and guess what? No spark. Lost spark for no apparent reason. So I had to pull the side cover. Thank goodness for my T27 torque. It pulls right out, and there's our coil. Now this coil is a new coil. because the coil that was in here, which is right here, had about 3 inches of dirt around it, which undoubtedly contributed to its demise. And thank goodness again, Stihl made a bunch of these saws, and the aftermarket parts for them are readily available, including a coil. So you're gonna check a coil. Hey, you can check it for ohms, you can check it for continuity, you can check it for microfarads, you can check it for anything you want. But the bottom line is, when these magnets pass these 2 armatures there, or 2 windings, it's supposed to make spark. And if it doesn't make spark, you need a new coil. So I bought a new coil, put it in. I've got this very expensive gapping. It's got to have a correct air gap in here. And I got this very expensive gapping tool from my friend Pterodactyl at Grassrat's Garage up in Podunk, Indiana. And you can see it just fits in there perfectly. Nice little air gap there. Terrell's business card. So I connected everything back, spun it a little bit, pow, fire in the hole. We got plenty of ignition. So now we're about ready to button this thing up and see if it'll run. All right, so here we go. We got like a brand new chain, brand new bars turned upside down to even the wear out. Oiler's working just fine. She's squirting oil, and as most chainsaws do, it'll slobber some out the bottom there. Carburetor has been adjusted. Brand new coil. Same spark plug it came here with. These saws or anything else are in tune. The spark plugs for them will last 1,000,000 years. So this had a nice Champion spark plug in it. Don't know whether that's what it came with, but that's what's in it now. And it seems to run good. So let's see what she does. Compression release down. Choke on. Ooh, like that. I believe I'll call that a win.